Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King, and we'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is delivering the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, or ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God has a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society is an interdenominational, religious, spiritual organization. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there's one belief that we share. There's one piece of knowledge that we hold in common. And that's the knowledge that there is a being, by no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being. Whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Buddha, Jehovah, nature, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. We know that there is indeed an almighty being. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do this show, to deliver the message that that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed almighty. Today is January the 5th, 2017, and I remind you that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind you of that fact because this show is an open discussion. It's a two-way conversation. You see the telephone numbers that are on your screen. I invite you to use those telephone numbers or call in if there's something that's going on in your church, your mosque, your masjid, your temple, your place of worship, your synagogue, and you want to let the world know about it. Call in and let the world know about it. More important than that, if there's something that's going on in your nonprofit organization and you want to let the world know about it, call in and let the world know about it. And more important than all of that, more important than what's going on in your place of worship, more important than what's going on in your nonprofit organization, if there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life, I invite you to call in and share that testimony with the world. You know, it may have been some difficult times that you were going through. Maybe it was some difficult financial situations you were dealing with. Maybe it was some difficult health issues that you were dealing with. And God made a way for you. Call in and share your testimony with the world. You know, it may be someone right now that's going through the same types of problems that you went through. Someone right now that needs to know that God is almighty, needs to know that God is working miracles even in the year 2017. Call in and share your testimony with the world. Hearing your testimony, hearing how God worked a miracle in your life might be the one thing that someone needs to hear today to encourage them, to strengthen them, to help them to hold on until things get better. So call in and share your testimony with the world. I said that we are being seen live right now, not only on television, but we're being seen live around the world. Folks that are in Okinawa, Japan right now can tune in and watch the message on the internet and that website. I want you to lock that in. You see it on your screen, www.livestream.com/messengerdnk. Lock that in. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can visit that website and see previously recorded episodes of the message, no matter where you are in the world. And on most Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, you can visit that website and watch the message live. I also invite you to lock in our main website. And our main website is www.livestream.com. www.godisalmighty.org. That's www.godisalmighty.org. Lock that website in, and you can. It has links to all of our social media outlets, including our live stream page. So lock that in. And speaking about live stream, we are being seen now live on Facebook, and I think we may have a little bit technical difficulty, but I think that we are indeed streaming live on Facebook right now. So tune in, Facebook, and that's going to be Donatus, Danatus, N King, King, Donatus N King, Facebook Live. Those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, I want you to please, invite you to leave a message, and we're going to try to respond to all of our comments as they occur. So let's see. All right. I think we are on now, and it looks like, yes, we are. Great. I understand we do have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Good evening. Happy New Year to you, Mr. King.
Happy New Year.
Everybody else? Happy
New Year, Brother Chris. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
All right. Great. Brother Chris, we had, this is a new year, and sometimes we have those little gremlins that come in, those little technical glitches that come in, and we've been dealing with some of those all day long. All day. So that information that you gave me about the new hours and the new books, I didn't get a chance to put that out. So if you just share that with us now, the new books in the Bible study.
Okay. The new title from coupon is from 2:30 to 4:30, and the readings are Luke, James, Paul, and Peter.
All right. Okay, so Luke, Paul, and Peter.
Luke, James, and Peter.
All right, Brother Chris.
And I wanted to tell people to please call into the prayer line and the Bible study and the meditation line also.
All right. So call in the Bible study. All right, Brother Chris. Thank you, brother.
Okay. I hope we can get it packed up next week.
All right.
Okay.
All right, viewers, I'm just going to take just a second to take a deep breath, and try to just calm down and compose and get things together. As I say, there's one of the things that we deal with technology, and technology is a great thing. It's a wonderful thing when it's operating properly. But when it's not, it can indeed throw you off. And today has been one of those kind of days. But I thank God. And I thank God that even though things haven't gone smoothly, even though things haven't gone perfectly, I know that it's all part of God's plan. And I know that sometimes God throws things our way to regulate our speed. See what I'm talking about? If things have been going smoothly, then I might be over here. But because there were different things that occurred, instead of being over here, I'm over here. See, that was God's intention, that I not be over here. So I just thank God for giving me and blessing me with that understanding, and giving me the spirit to accept his will. Not my will, but thy will be done. All right, let's, we have First show of the year, first show of 2017. And a couple of weeks ago, I was commenting, the last live show we had, I was commenting on how fast 2016 went and how it seems like, just the week before or a couple of weeks before that, we were welcoming in the new year of 2016. Well, this is a brand new year, 2017, and you know how God works with the way He's let things develop today in my life, that God reminded me that this is a new year and things might not go exactly the way I planned it during this new year. That it may be things that I have planned to do that won't get done. And just today being a microcosm, a reminder that not my will, but thy will be done. So I thank God. I thank God, and I thank God for giving me peace to a certain degree. Peace as I dealt with these changes today. And when I say these changes, I'm not speaking about health or anything else like that. I'm speaking about some technical issues, not only with the show, but also at the office, this technology. But all those things do happen. All right, let's get into our show, religious spiritual study. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good, coming out of the first book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. Epiphany. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Epiphany during our religious and spiritual study. For those of you that don't know what Epiphany is, we're going to talk about it. Words of inspiration tonight coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verses 55 through 57. Announcements. Brother Chris's prayer line. You heard Brother Chris call in just now. He gave us the new dates for his prayer line. And that number again is 504-866-5042. Meditation training, same number. Brother Chris also had the Bible study and a COPE line. And all of that is free. And the updated, those what you see on the screen now, the suggested readings, that's wrong. The suggested readings now, as Brother Chris just informed us, the book of Luke, Paul, Peter, and James. There's our main website that I was telling you about a few minutes ago, www.godisalmighty.org. Please visit that website, and there are links on that website to all of our social media outlets. We have a religious discussion blog. We have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Definitely go to YouTube. We have a whole bunch of videos, interviews that have been taken around the world. And I said around the world, all the way in Egypt. So go there and you can watch some of the videos that we've recorded. Minister Antoine Brown. I talked to Minister Brown earlier during the week, and he's making some progress. And I'm pleased to say that Minister Brown may be soon. He may be able to move back to the city of New Orleans. We've been working for a while on trying to get Minister Brown some housing. And when I talked to him this week, things were looking promising as far as Minister Brown obtaining some housing here in the city of New Orleans. But look, don't stop praying for him. Okay, don't stop praying for him. Keep Minister Brown in your prayers. All right. Peacekeepers of New Orleans is 504-723-3976. Have a beef hotline. So if you know someone that's out in the community that's having some problems, that's having disputes, call the peacekeepers. They'll come out and help mediate that dispute so that it doesn't wind up in gunfire. We had some problems already, murders already this year, people shooting each other. So that's an alternative. Call the beef hotline. Intern needed for the message. Intern needed for the message. Now let me just share this with you. Yes, we do need an intern here to help us produce this program. You know, and this is an excellent opportunity. You know, when I talk about, I was talking a little bit earlier about technical issues. Well, we are using some state-of-the-art equipment to produce this show. And the cameras that we're using, not only the cameras in the studio, but the camera that we're using to stream live on Facebook Live, state-of-the-art, okay, top of the line. So, you know, I'm learning it as we go along, but this is an excellent opportunity for someone that's interested in getting into the business of producing TV shows, producing videos. It's an excellent opportunity to come and get involved, learn as you work as an intern on this program, and learn not only with the camera that's used to stream on Facebook Live, but also with some of the equipment that's here. You learn about lighting, learn about sound, you know, audio, video. It's an excellent opportunity. So if you want to progress, okay, if you want to develop a new skill, come on, give me a call, and we'll get you involved. And that's something that, you know, once you get your training here, you'll actually be able to use that to generate some income. You know, and that's one of the hottest fields right now. Anyone that knows about Facebook Live, that's one of the hottest fields that there is right now. And not only Facebook Live, but a lot of what they call live streaming, where folks are doing videos that are streaming live. That is the new thing. So if you want to be on the cutting edge of technology, and yes, when you're on the cutting edge, sometimes you're going to run into some bumps along the way. But that's what happens when you're on the cutting edge. All right? So if you want to be on the cutting edge of technology, come on, give me a call, and you can get involved, and you can learn the skill here in the studio working with the program. All right. Let's see. Rock of Ages Ministries International, Apostle Ronnie Bailey. Apostle Bailey, they're based out of Lafayette, Louisiana, but they always, I think at least on a monthly basis, have a program that's going on here in the city of New Orleans. That's their main website, www.ronniebailey.com. Visit their website and find out what Apostle Bailey is doing, the upcoming events. St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church, 8321 Birch Street, here in the city of New Orleans. The services Saturday, 4 p.m., Sundays, 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Once again, call 311. Call 311 if you're in the city of New Orleans. Call 311 for a free smoke detector. The fire department will come out and actually install a smoke detector at your house for free. Please don't leave children in your car. Please check your car for children in the back seat. You know, the weatherman says that they are expecting some very, very bad weather in this upcoming week, this upcoming weekend. Even here in South Louisiana. And I say South Louisiana, I have to keep repeating where we are, reminding myself that this show is not only being seen here in New Orleans, but it's being seen around the world. You know, so those of us that are in Southeast Louisiana may experience some pretty severe weather in the upcoming few days. It might even get some sleet here. And, you know, we don't get sleet very often in the Southeast Louisiana area, but the weatherman is saying that we may get some of that in the upcoming few days. And my wife told me earlier that she was going to go to the store and get whatever is needed, whatever we're going to need for the weekend, so that she doesn't have to get out there and deal with all that bad weather that's supposed to be coming up over the weekend. So that might be something that you want to look at doing yourself. You know, whatever kind of provisions that you want to get, you know, this is going to be one of those weekends, according to the weatherman, this is going to be one of those weekends to gain a little bit weight. You know, get you some food and just lay around the house snacking and watching TV or watching movies or just catching up with each other. You know, but if you don't have to be out this weekend, it sounds like the best thing he's going to do is to be inside. All right, that's this upcoming weekend here in Southeast Louisiana. And from what I'm hearing about the national weather, there's going to be some bad weather throughout the United States in this upcoming weekend rather. So, if possible, get everything that you need so that you can snuggle up. All right, snuggle up this weekend and just take it easy around the house. All right, let's see, move on. We have a few more announcements. Glory Land, Congregational Baptist Church, 4541 America Street, here in the city of New Orleans, 504-242-8444. Reverend Adam Lee is the pastor teacher. Sunday school, 9 a.m. Worship service, Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Prayer service, Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Bible study, Tuesdays, 7:15 p.m. McDonough 35 brick sale. All right, now I didn't get a chance to put this entire announcement on here, but this is the entire announcement. The National McDonough 35 Alumni Association is reaching out to all persons who graduated from McDonough 35 High School as it begins its commemoration of the school's centennial celebration. McDonough 35, 1917 to 2017. If you are a graduate or if you know of someone who graduated from McDonough 35, please contact the Alumni Association at McDonough 35 Alumni Association at yahoo.com. And in conjunction with that, memorial bricks are being sold to support the Alumni Scholarship Fund. The bricks will be placed in the courtyard of the new school. Buy a brick for yourself, your loved ones, or in memory of someone who graduated from McDonough 35. And so for more information about that, visit that website or give me a call and I'll give you the information to contact the folks, McDonough 35 Alumni Association. All right, St. Paul AME Revival, January 12th through 23rd. And the theme is, Will You Not Revive Us Again, that your people may rejoice in you, coming out of Psalms 85 and 6. You are invited to share with the pastor and congregation of St. Paul AME Church as they seek God's presence and salvation as they begin a new year of 2017 in prayer and revival. The revival is scheduled Thursday and Friday, January 12th and 13th, 2016, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. each night. Revival messages will be brought by Reverend Charles Washington, pastor of Haven Trinity United Methodist Church, on Thursday, and Bishop Shedeka, pastor of Morning Star Baptist Church, on Friday. You're encouraged to share these days of spiritual rededication with us as we begin this new year. The theme for the revival is Revive Us Again. And St. Paul AME is located at 8540 Coin Street, 8540 Coin Street, here in the city of New Orleans. It is pastored by the Reverend Fred Fields, and L.B. McMillan is one of the sponsors of the revival, and J.F. McMillan is also a sponsor of the revival. The God is Almighty worldwide message tour. Yep, we're back on the road again, and we will be in Sicily Island, Louisiana, and in Monroe, Louisiana. That's February 12th through the 14th, 2017. So if you know of someone that lives in the Sicily Island area or the Monroe area, let them know to come on out. We're going to be out, we're going to be out on the highways and byways, delivering that message that God is Almighty. So again, if you know someone that lives in the Monroe area or the Sicily Island area, that's right, Sicily Island, we're not talking about somewhere in Italy. Sicily Island here in Louisiana, the northeast Louisiana, up around Monroe, between Monroe and Faraday. So, those of you that are familiar with that area, we'll be up there, and we'll be, as I said, the highways and byways. We'll be standing on the highways, passing out leaflets, passing out cards, holding up signs, delivering the message that God is Almighty. And we'll also be doing some interviews while we're out there. As you all know, when we go on these tour stops, we get out and we take it to the streets. Yeah, we take it to the streets, and we let folks out in the streets testify as to what God has done for them. You know, we have one testimony we got when we were in Atlanta, where the lady was talking about how God helped her with her diabetes. We were in New York, and there was another lady testifying about how she had been suffering with AIDS, and she had been suffering with a drug addiction, and how God made a way for her. So, you know, and those videos, I remind you, you can go to our not our Facebook, you can go to our YouTube page, and you can see those videos because they're posted on our YouTube page. Go to our main website, and that's www.godisalmighty. And there are links to our YouTube and all our other social media outlets. But again, I invite you to go and you can see those interviews from folks throughout America. Interviews, we have videos where we were in Cairo, Egypt, in a mosque, sitting in a mosque praying with the members of the Muslim religion. So just go again. I invite you to go and check it out. All right, let's see if we have any more announcements. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Coming out of First Book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. All right, the Epiphany. Hey, I did not get a chance to actually write this up to be able to put it on the screen, but we are celebrating actually tomorrow, January the 6th, is the day known as Epiphany. And for those of you of the Christian faith, particularly of the Catholic faith, that Epiphany is a very special day. And it's not a holiday, it's a holy day. And what Epiphany symbolizes, it traditionally, the meaning of the Epiphany, it symbolizes Christ's baptism by John the Baptist. So now, for those, if you remember, okay, and I don't have the book and the verse, and I'm not going to take the time right now to look it up, but look it up for yourself. You know, matter of fact, I'm going to contradict myself. I am going to take the time to look it up. Go in the New Testament and let's see if we can find that. All right. And what I'm looking for, and if you find it before me, then let me know. All right. Let's see. And I'm looking for when Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. All right. And we're going to look and we'll see what they're talking about when they talk about Epiphany. All right. All right. Look in Mark chapter 1, verse 9. Okay, Mark chapter 1, verse 9. And it came to pass in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee and was baptized of John in Jordan. And straightway, coming up out of the water, he saw the heavens opened, and the Spirit like a dove descending upon him. And there came a voice from heaven saying, Thou art my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And immediately the Spirit driveth him into the wilderness. All right, so this is when we talk about the Epiphany. There's a lot of folks, this is what they're referencing. When Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist, and for those of you that know that word Epiphany, there's another meaning that's a non-religious, non-spiritual meaning, and it means to have a revelation. You hear someone say that, oh, I had an epiphany. Okay? They had insight. They had a breakthrough. All right? So this is the same thing that's related to here. When he talk about epiphany, this was the initial manifestation, according to what we read just now. The manifestation of Jesus Christ being the actual beloved Son of God Almighty. He said, this is my Son in whom I am well pleased. Okay, that coming out. That epiphany. All right, so it's celebrated on what's called, some folks call it the 12th night. And I'll just go to show you how this stuff works. Right? And they call it the 12th night because it is the 12th night after Christmas. Okay? So look, this stuff is all kind of tied in together, huh? Hey, all of it's kind of tied in together. And for those of us that are here in Southeast Louisiana, we know there's something else that the 12th night is the beginning of the carnival season. Man, see, all this stuff is tying in together. So now we have religion tied in with this secular celebration called carnival, called Mardi Gras. So do your homework. Okay? Google that. And you see how this stuff is all tied in, and it's tied in going all the way back to Christmas, then Epiphany, then Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, and then tied in with the next holy day, Easter. All this stuff kind of working together here. And guess what? We're talking about the connection in a religious sense, but when we look at the scientific sense, we see that connection. Remember what we talked about a couple of weeks ago? And we were talking about the scientific significance of this time of the year, and that was the winter solstice. Remember we talked about that? And we talked about why that was so important from a scientific standpoint. And it was so important because it helped man to develop a calendar, helped man get some understanding about how the seasons work, which in turn helped man to understand when were the best times to plant his crops and eventually to harvest his crops. So we see a lot of parallels between religious practices and just scientific facts. Right? So this is one of those, again, this is another one of those times that we're in right now when we're dealing with the Epiphany. So we're gonna go on, and we still have a little bit of time left. Matter of fact, almost a half an hour, 25 minutes left in the show. So let's go on our words of inspiration. Words of inspiration coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verses 55 through 57. You know, and it seems like it's been a year since we've actually read in the book of Genesis. You know, because all the different things that have been coming up, we haven't been getting to the book of Genesis, getting back to it, but we're getting back to it tonight, 41, 55, 57. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, and the people cried to Pharaoh for bread, and Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he said to you, do. All right, now, I got to stop there for a minute. I got to stop there just for a minute. And I'm stopping there for a minute because it's been so long since we've been in here in the book of Genesis and reading this and talking about it. Just a little refresher course. All right, the Joseph that he's talking about, Joseph is the Hebrew. Okay, the Hebrew, one of Jacob's sons, the same Joseph with the coat of many colors, that his jealous brothers threw him into the pit. And Brother Leon, Brother Butch, thank you for tuning in on Facebook. Thank you. But we talk about Joseph. So Joseph is a Hebrew that was brought into Egypt as a slave, and he went through all different kinds of things. He was a prisoner, everything else. But now he's gotten to the point whereas he's the second most important man in Egypt. So that's a whole different race of people. You have Joseph as a Hebrew, and then you have Pharaoh, who is an Egyptian. Two different races of people, the Hebrews and Egyptians, from two different lands. Hebrews not from Egypt. But the significance of what's going on here, we have someone that was a slave and is now the second most important man in Egypt. And he's that important, Pharaoh put him in that position. And the significance of that, to me, the significance of that is it gives me encouragement. No matter where you came from, no matter what condition you've gone through, that God can elevate you beyond your wildest dreams. See, God elevated Joseph beyond his wildest dreams. See, Joseph was a foreigner. He was one of them foreigners that nowadays some folks might want to build a wall to keep the foreigners out. Joseph was a foreigner, and they didn't just let him come on in there any old kind of way. He was brought into Egypt as a slave. And now we read where he is the second most important man in Egypt. The same people that owned him. Get some understanding. The same people that owned him. He has now been put in a position of authority over them. So if God could do that more than 2,000 years ago, tell me why can't God do that now? No matter what your position right now, you might feel that you are in a position of subjugation. You might feel that you are downtrodden right now, but have hope. The God I'm here to tell you about, the same God that brought Joseph out of that pit, brought him through slavery, brought him through the prison, that same God can work miracles in your life. That's what I'm here to tell you. That God is indeed almighty. I'm not just making this up. God is indeed almighty. All right. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because the famine was so sore in all lands. See, now I gotta stop there for a minute now. Look at this. See what I'm saying? God has a master plan for all time and all creation. This famine was over, not only over Egypt, this famine was over all the lands, all the countries. And look, the scripture tells us not not only did the Egyptians have to come to Joseph, but the scripture says that folks from all the countries had to come to Joseph and bow down to Joseph and ask Joseph for help. Look at that. From those beginnings, from being, when Joseph was in that pit, after his brothers had stole his coat and threw him in that pit, when Joseph was lying in that pit, he didn't have no kind of idea that it was God's plan that at the future, that he'd have folks from all countries bowing down before him. When he was laying in that pit, well, you know what? Wait, I take that back. Let me take all that back. Because the scriptures tells us that Joseph, before he was thrown in that pit, that God had given him a vision, whereas his father and all of his older brothers would be bowing down to him. So God had given him foreknowledge, had given him the sight to see that he would be in a position of prominence, a position of authority. You know, you might be going through a pit right now yourself. You know, this is a new year, and there's some of you may be feeling like you're in a pit. Maybe you just got a notice that you're going to be laid off from your job. Maybe you're having some difficulties with your wife or your husband. Maybe you're having some health issues that you're dealing with. Maybe just starting to feel despair, feeling like you're down in a deep hole. Let Joseph be an inspiration to you. Let Joseph be some encouragement for you. If you believe in God, if you believe in the Bible, if you believe the things that the Bible says God did with Joseph, the way God brought him out of that pit, if you believe that's true, then tell me, what has happened over these 2,000 years to make God weak? What has happened to take away God's power that he can't deliver you the same way he delivered Joseph? I'm here to tell you nothing has taken away God's power. I'm here to tell you that God is indeed Almighty. The same way that he had a plan for Joseph, the same way he had a plan for Pharaoh, the same way he had a plan for all of Egypt, the same way he had a plan that included a famine over all the earth, the same way God was almighty back then, he is still almighty today. I'm here to tell you that no matter what you're going through right now, that God can make a way for you. That's what I'm here to tell you. Let's go on and see what else we're reading about here. Now, we're in 42 now. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do ye look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. All right, now, I got to stop there. Wait a minute. Things kind of trying to tie in together here. Look at it, what's going on? Wait a minute. Wait. Now we're reading about Jacob. See, we hadn't read about Jacob in a while. And what I was telling you about earlier, that Joseph, one of Jacob's sons, and Joseph's brothers is the one that stole his coat of many colors and threw him in that pit and went and lied and told his daddy that a wild beast had ate him. And now look how they say that. Look, the plot thickens. Now it's about to be some mess now. Oh, it's about to be some mess. See, they forgot about old Joseph. All these years have passed by. Oh, Joseph got ate up by a wild beast in the pit. They didn't forgot about him now. They had no reason to think about him. They're over there in the land with the Hebrews. Joseph's over there in the land with the Egyptians. So they ain't worried about nothing. But now, wait, look how God is you talk about somebody writing a book and putting all kind of adventure and intrigue. You know, they got these TV programs that come on now, like Scandal, and folks be doing all kind of scandalous stuff on there and all the rest of that, and people be hurrying up to go watch it so they can see who's doing what to who at what time and how they doing it, and if they're going to get away with it, if they're going to get caught. Man, you read this Bible. They got some scandalous stuff going on in this Bible. Now look what's happened. Look what's happened. Joseph's brothers threw him in a pit, went home and told the daddy, wild beasts ate Joseph. So they ain't worried about nothing. All these years have passed. They done lied to their daddy. They ain't worried about nothing. But as I say, the stuff's getting ready to hit the fan right now because Joseph is in Egypt, and Joseph is the one that controls the corn. And the famine is not only in Egypt, but the famine is all over the land. The famine is over there where them Hebrews are, where the Jews are. And now look what is happening now. The Jews have found out that they got corn over there in Egypt. The Jews are starving. They're starving. And old Jacob said, wait, we ain't got to starve. They got all kind of food over there in Egypt. Go on, get us some of that food over there in Egypt. Go ahead. And now guess what? The brothers don't know that they're going to have to go to one particular person in Egypt to get the corn. And they definitely don't know that that one particular person they got to go to is their brother, Joseph, the same one whose coat they stole, the same one that they threw in the pit. See, I told you about all the intrigue and scandalous stuff going on. Read that Bible. All right? All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's see what else we got here. All right. And Joseph, see what I told you? Look at that. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. You see that? His 10 brothers, I told you that's his brother. They went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. You see what I told you? See all this stuff here? This stuff is getting juicy now. All right? It's getting juicy. See? Look. 10 brethren. Now remember, there was 12 of them. It was 12 of them. When you count Jacob's sons, he had 12. And that's where we come up with the 12 tribes of Israel. When you hear folks talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, well, those are the 12 sons. Every son had a tribe. The 12 branches of Israel. And guess what? Remember? Hold on now. Wait 1 second. The 12 tribes of Israel, 12 branches of Israel. Remember? Jacob had another name. After he wrestled with that angel, Jacob's name was changed. And his name was changed to what? It was changed to Israel. Israel. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. All right, so now we got the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 sons of Jacob. One of the sons is now living in Egypt, the second most important man in Egypt. The other 11 are in Canaan, where the Jews are. And then Jacob sends 10 of those to Egypt to buy corn. And he says, well, look, I'm not going to risk all of my sons. I'm going to leave one here with me. So if something happens to them other 10, I still have one left here with me. And that is Benjamin. See, all this stuff tying in together. All right? And I want you to go back a little bit earlier in Genesis and find out the significance of Benjamin. See, Benjamin, there was something else happening with Benjamin. We ain't going to talk about it right now, but go do your own reading. All right. And Joseph was the governor over the land. And he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Oh, look at here. Look at here. Go back in Genesis. Go back. It might have been in chapter 40, where Joseph was telling his mom and his dad and his brothers, telling them about the dream that he had, about how his brothers was going to be bowing down to him, how his daddy was going to be bowing down to him. Now this is when he was back in Canaan, before they threw him in a pit. And his brothers and his dad, everybody got mad. Because remember, Joseph is the youngest one. And they talking about, hey boy, why are you so swollen-headed? Talking about we're going to be bowing down to you. What's wrong with you? And now we see what has happened. Scripture saying that they are bowing down to Joseph. See, God had all this stuff planned out. Had it planned out. Now let's go beyond the story. And going beyond it, we've touched upon it a little bit in the past. You see, we're focusing on Joseph and his brothers and the rest of that. But remember what we read? Not only is Joseph the second most powerful man in Egypt, but Joseph, having that position, he's using that position as the bully pulpit. He's using that position to spread the word, to spread the message about how powerful, how great his God is. Because remember, when Joseph interpreted the dream for Pharaoh, Joseph said, it's my God that gives me that knowledge. My God, see, Pharaoh and the Egyptians had a different God. And all of the Egyptian priests and wise men and magicians, they could not interpret Pharaoh's dreams for him. But Joseph could. And that's why Pharaoh made Joseph the second most powerful man in Egypt, because Joseph had the power to interpret Pharaoh's dreams. And Joseph was quick to say, it ain't me doing it, it's my God that's doing it. So look how God used Joseph to magnify God's glory in Egypt. See, God's got a plan. See, sometimes it might look like God is going this way when actually God's going that way. See, sometimes we might think that we're having technical difficulties, but it's just God working his plan to put us where he wants us to be, when he wants us to be there, and how he wants us to be there. God is Almighty. I got to slow down now. We're coming to the close of the show. And this has been a great show. Starting off 2017. Starting it off being humbled. Being shown. Being reminded that it's not in our hands, but it's in God's hands. And as I said earlier, the only purpose for this show, the only purpose is to deliver the message that there is a being, by no matter what name you may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name you may have come to know that being. There is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. There is a being that has a master plan for all time in creation. And that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed Almighty. As we close this first show of the year 2017, my prayer, as always, may God Almighty bless you and yours with peace.